Hello, everybody. Rick Machado here with Western Video Market, along with Jay Nordhausen from Ogallala Livestock here, giving you kind of our second day update here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Here, another powerful marketing day. A pretty full day. Had over 20,000 head of calves today after that big follow-up on the yearlings yesterday, which was pretty doggone active. Started out west with some of the lighter calves. Did not have a lot of lighter calves, but a few of these Nevada calves, few Montana calves, and some of these Idaho calves as well. So met with big demand, kind of the same story. You know, you've got them weaned. If they're light and weaned with a later delivery and can kind of go west or go to some real good, potentially go to some wheatgrass, you know, they've got extreme demand throughout the course of the day. And this time of year, we always have a lot of calves. And due to the drought out in this part of the world, Jay knows a lot about that. And it's been awfully dry. And so a lot of these calves haven't been able to wean, or they've been moving up in delivery conditions into September and October, so it makes them maybe not as palatable to some of these buyers. But that being said, the cattle that had the genetics, the cattle that had the vaccination protocol, they continue to sell. Probably see a little more variation in the pricing, just because the cattle are a little more variation when we get to this versus a month ago at Reno. You know, kind of, if you really analyze it, it's probably kind of a 5 to 8% difference in price overall, just to kind of throw a rough figure out there. But we still saw, you know, some light weaned calves up there at 560, you know, weighing 5.5, and several at 525, 535. And as Jay was pointing out, it seemed like we were meeting with starting to see some heifer demand retention out there with some of these guys.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of guys were coming after these heifers, and of course, when we look at like Crawford and Bassett, they had some really big quotes on some heifers. Those Kendrick heifers, based at 620 to 560, that was 3470 a head. And then the John Lee Ranch had those heifers at 560, and they brought 570. So
Hoffman Genetics,
yep.
Yeah. So you're seeing some big separation between the average heifers and some of these heifers that have some replacement potential.
And the genetics get it done.
Genetics sure do. But again, all classes were pretty active. We did have several weaned calves, but also a lot of calves on the cow. You know, September, October. We've kind of got some breakdown here. Some of these weaned calves here, kind of that 500-pound category, kind of 510 to 542. You know, a top of 560 on some 5 weights. Certainly. In the 6 weight category, 6 to 6.5, that category averaged 606 and averaged 480, kind of a range from 470 to 497.5. There was some extreme tops above that, but that's kind of the gist of it. But even without the replacement interest, it seemed like the heifers were running on a little tighter spread. You know, there was more of them, just kind of 15 to 30 cents, where maybe at the higher levels a month ago we saw a little bit of a little more spread between those. But a good day all in all. We look forward to, there's going to be more cattle coming here to Ogallala again.
Yes.
I think we're going to be looking for a good sale there. We continue to, see a little volatility in the board, but it seems like these guys are still out there to buy these cattle, particularly like I started today with those cattle that have the real premium genetics, that have some vaccination protocol behind them. And I think we're going to stay in a pretty strong position for these cow-calf guys.
Yeah, and a question we'll get quite a bit after this sale is just if buyers are paying a premium for these weaned calves. And we did see a premium today, especially through our consignments and others, of probably $10 to $15 over those coming off the cow, even though we saw some really big quotes of these steer calves and heifers coming off the cow. But the genetics, the reputation, I mean, all that plays a factor into that. But like I said, there was some good upgrade in terms of price for weaned cattle here today.
There was. I'm going to give a couple more because at the beginning I didn't give some of those Western cattle, some of the bigger strings, particularly Crawford Cattle Company. They had quite a string of yearlings yesterday. They've been really upgrading that program with their bull sourcing, turning them pretty black. There was 2 loads of steers that weighed 580 that brought $5. You know, really good price. Come right back with 2 loads that weighed 6 1/4 at $475, and then we got into some 6 1/4 weight cattle some 680 weight cattle at about $440. So right up against 7. Nebraska saw some big premiums. You know,
No.
and as Jay pointed out, I think it's pretty important to illustrate that you know there's some of those real high reputation calves that will sell right up with the wean calves, you know.
Right.
But overall, if they got an opportunity to wean them, it surely makes them more saleable most all of the time. It's usually a pretty bomb-proof deal.
Right. And there was some dog fights today. I mean, guys getting after some of these cattle. Like I said, Crawford on those bigger steers, and you get into South Dakota, I mean, them things got a lot of gas in the tank. Those Kendrick steers, 258 head. I mean, it wasn't a little deal. Based at 675 at 458. I mean, and they were going back and forth.
On a calf.
On a calf, guys. And so, I mean, that was exciting to see. We saw some figures, like you said, that throughout the day that reflected what it was a month ago.
Exactly.
And, you know, there were some of these early delivery lighter calves, you know, for us, like Whitewater, based at 500. They're going to come early because of the drought at 540. I mean, and there was a lot of bidding activity with those things, and had some 570-pound steers, Burgess and Johnston. Those Burgess steers, they brought 495, and then the Johnston steers bring 501.
Yeah.
And so just some big quotes for us in there, and Nebraska was well represented today. And of course, we ended the day with those Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho cattle that Kalen Downing repped. And
many good strings of cattle there, and a lot of them with just one round of shots, and still found some competitiveness to them, and sold kind of comparably to the rest of the field today.
Yep.
Good week. We look forward to Ogallala having
September
a good sale.
14th.
September 14th.
For the meal. And September 15th the sale. That's a Tuesday. So Tuesday, September 15th.
Thank you all.